some situations, you can have two kids raised in the same household. Yeah, one stays squeaky clean, Mr. Jamie. The other one gets in some trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like, even in that scenario, again, it's not that black and white all the time, because at some point in time, that person, you have to make your own choices. So it's like, I hear what you're saying. There's probably I would argue that's the norm, is that you have that pattern and they're getting in trouble. But you do have some of those individuals that they were raised right. But again, you're going to have that individual challenge of your morals, of your values as you age. The more you sit there and betray it, that's going to become your pattern, despite your parents used to be in your ear all the time, because your parents ain't always be around. Right? That's what I'm saying. As you get older, you have more autonomy, more freedoms. That's when it's even a bigger call on you to sit there and make sure that you're continuously living the way that you're supposed to be. Because now, when you don't have all those structures, we don't have all those boundaries in place, somebody telling you, no, you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, you getting up at this time, you're doing all that. When all that falls away, that's when you actually find the measure of the man.
Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A podcast. I am your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, I got Mr. Military Man, Mr. Myles. How you feeling today, brother?
Feeling good today.
You feeling great, all right. How about to the right of him? We got the Rocket. He's back, y'all. You know, he missed out last week, but he's back. We got the Rocket. How you feeling today, Mr. Rocket?
Good, I'm good, man. Glad to be back.
Good. Glad that y'all are here, family. I'm gonna tell y'all each and every time, I'm gonna say this early. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment to this episode, to this podcast. You're missing a lot of great content, man. The last couple podcasts, we had some great guests. We went on a little streak. We had a lot of athletes that came on the podcast, and we were able to give them some guys, man, give them some game. They're from Jiren to Q, you know. So those 2 great episodes that I was happy to have, and we're gonna, keep it going with the guests that we have on. We got some special guests in the works. So, don't like, subscribe, and comment so you don't miss. All right. So today, man, there's a lot going on. January is over. We're in the month of February. I know with the team, man, we've been scrambling around because we understand that the summer will be here before we know it. So there's a lot of things in the work, the play of what we're trying to do or what we're trying to accomplish that we know we got to be ahead of the game. Before you know it, you'll be behind the game. And we want to make sure. So this is a note to you. That thing that you've been saying that you need to do, go do it. All right. Stop procrastinating. Stop hindering, stop putting it off, and go do what you need to do. All right, family. So that's what family do. We make sure that we all together. All right, but for today, there's some things that have been happening. Y'all, I'm put y'all in on a little game or something. A little situation that we experienced, and it brought up the topic of good ethics. You know what I mean? So what is good ethics? What morals? The things that you stand on. For myself, I was always brought up to have respect, like respect my elders. To have confidence and all these different things that I was brought up with that makes me the man I am today. When you grow up a certain type of way, you go into the world thinking everybody's the same way as you, because it's all you know. You come from your household, you think that, or your environment that you come from, you think everybody's the same. To my surprise, when I got to college, I was like, whoa, weird. Like, these people are different. Who raised you? Type of mentality. And it was funny to start experiencing different people. Like, man, these people are different. And so it started making me thinking, obviously, realize that people are different. People are raised different. The same thing that was instilled in me wasn't instilled in everybody else. All right. So for us 3, me and Eddie were raised the same way, but for you, it was a little different. But what was that moment? What was the moment that you had awakening to, like, okay, everybody wasn't raised to me? And we'll start with Myles and we'll go there the next. So what was that moment that, you just woke up, you went outside, he was like, dang, oh, you don't do that? You wasn't raised like that? What was that for you?
Probably my initial moment of that was high school. But I would say it wasn't until I left home to join the military is when it really hit. So like high school, I came to the knowledge of, I'm like, okay, people a little bit different. Yeah. But it wasn't until, that growing pains that happens when you move away from home and you have to deal with certain people that really like stick out. That, man, people are raised entirely different.
Yeah. What would you say? So when it comes to how you're raised, if you had to pinpoint 3 key morals that you were raised on, you know what I mean? 3 things that just were instilled in you when you think about how your parents raised you, what would you say those things are?
I would say putting God first, and that in of itself take a while before you truly understand what that means. So that would be the first one. To have courage, because you have to be willing to stand on what it is that you believe in. And then last but definitely not least is integrity. Really make sure that you being a man of your word, you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, whether you're being watched or not. Yeah. So those would be the three main ones I would say throughout my childhood and growing up. Those are the things that would really stress upon us.
Yeah, and those are solid three. All right, so we're gonna swing to Ross. Ross, so what was that moment for you though? When did you realize that people outside that they were different?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely football. Getting to college, and it was crazy. My roommate, we're still friends to this day, but he was raised down south. And none against down south, living or how people were raised, in South Florida, but for sure that was eye opening because it was just completely different from I guess that level of respect. They still respected their elders. It's a way that they respect, but I guess it was different. And I guess with that, it's like, we were raised to say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. Well, down there, as long as you say yes, respectfully, or no, like, nah, they were cool with that. And I'm like, that don't work. That don't work in our house. Mm-hmm. So that was big. And then I guess whenever I got into the workforce, working at Cone Distributing, I mean, I leave and made sure that my clothes were ironed, and I came out the house a certain way. That's how we were brought up. Not everybody, that showed that kind of that helped elevate or lower people's standards or the way they thought about you. So for sure, those two.
If you pinpoint, so again, we raised in the same house, so I'm interested to hear the three things that you're gonna say. All right, so pinpoint three key things you could tell you what house we raised.
I'm gonna say respect, self-respect, and accountability.
For sure.
You say respect because just to our point, respecting others, respecting our elders, and it was all we were always taught. If you're 5 years or older, if they were 5 years or older, that's your elder. This ma'am, no matter what. That was no question. And the moment that you tried to question that, you got corrected. Then self-respect, just the way that you present yourself, the way that you carry yourself. Again, grooming yourself coming out the house. Don't come out the house without your hair brushed. Don't come out the house with mismatched socks. So, things like that. And again, that's just self-respect, the way that you presenting yourself to others. And accountability, that was one of the biggest things that recently we put out. The vlog came out with what we put out for Cut Different. And it was just funny because I'm sitting there looking at the video and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, our Pops really was on us. And again, I really didn't understand, like, man, why you owe me the way you owe me, man? Just chill. But now as an adult and as a mentor and a father, that's real big. You got to be able to be accountable for your actions, your thoughts, and your behavior, because if not, something's going to happen to you and you can't blame anybody about it. So,
yeah. And even think about now, the people you deal with or somebody that you may deal with that, their morals are a little off or shaky. It stems from that beginning. I don't care what nobody say. So even what he was saying, like the self-respect, like our parents literally didn't let us wear like slides to school. Like we couldn't wear like slides outside the house. Like if we were going to school, obviously we could do like going, but she didn't play that. Like I remember times I had to like sneak slides in my bag to take them off for real. Like that's how we were raised, but it was off self-respect because my parents understood like that's your appearance. Same thing we teach now, appearance. That was our appearance. So we were portraying, if you got slides, you more so you on chill vibe. You ain't come here to, you know what I mean, handle business. You know what I mean? And so at that time of that kid, you don't understand that. But the person who I am today, the things that they instilled into me, the respect. I don't care who you like. Yes, I'm on that. I'm a grown man, but I'm on that. I'm going to respect. I'm saying yes, sir, no's. And I instill it to any kid. I encourage them. Like, you should be saying yes, ma'am, no's, yes, sir. So those things, bro, it takes you a long way. You get what I'm saying? So the moral things are very big. So now that we're moving on and we're adults, so our parents, the foundation that we come from that was sprinkled upon us, even if we didn't like it, even if we push back on it, it still has some effect to who we are today. Right. So when you think about other people that you come into contact with, so I'm getting somewhere with this, gentleman. When you deal with a person that you feel that their morals are shaky, or you feel that they don't have the same morals that you may have that align with you, what do y'all think that's like, and I kind of just answered the question, but what do y'all think that's stemming from? Where do y'all think, like, what was the first thing you go back to say, like, who failed this person? What do y'all think? That, is it an initial? Is it that, is it because if it's a grown person, do you say it's on them? Or would you look back and say, dang, somebody ain't teach this person right?
For sure. I mean, that's one of the, like, either you didn't know it or you don't care. And then that kind of helped me figure, you know, I'm not gonna judge you off rip per se, but you know, I'm gonna give it a chance to see, like, okay, why do you think that way? Why do you act that way? And it may be a reason. It may have a great reason to why you are the way that you are. So I have to respect that as a person, because we do come from different households. I have to respect your view on life. You know what I'm saying? We all are different people. So for me, it's just trying to figure out, okay, well, why do you act that way? And then, okay, you act that way, but you're still a solid person. I can respect that. So,
and they even got now, so the gentle parenting thing, because this old switch with the gentle parenting thing. So do y'all question, because and sometimes I think about, because things change and people try to, the flip side to that, the people try to make you think like, oh, well, it ain't the same like it used to be back in the day, that whole thing. So do y'all think that's the same? Did that have something to do with the morals, just because time has changed, that we have to change our morals as well? Do y'all agree with that?
No, I think what you're seeing a generation of people that they were raised a certain way and they were allowed to get away with certain things. So now when they're the ones who have kids, you know, because they didn't stick to certain values or certain morals and they allow themselves to slip, they're raising their kids, the next generation, in that slippage, if that makes sense. So that's why you see, like, you have people, adults our age, that's aware of certain values or morals, different things, but because they didn't act on it and consistently act on it, now they're raising kids in the midst of not acting on it. Right. You know, it's a generation of kids that's growing up seeing the wrong examples. Even going back to your last question, when you were asking, you know, do we think is someone failed them? Mm-hmm. Like you said, sometimes it's they weren't raised that way, so you have to have some level of grace for them. Like, okay, maybe they just weren't raised on that. But I think a lot of times it's when you're raised with certain values, certain morals and different things, you're going to be tried on that throughout your lifetime. And so each time you sit there and give in to those moments where you like, well, I don't have to sit there and follow through with these values. I don't have to sit there and stick to these morals. Every time you compromise, you know, your upbringing, you get further and further away from it. So, you know, when you start making your own money, you have your own house, you have, you know, a little more freedoms. A lot of people, they just betray some of the things that they were taught, and then it becomes a pattern. It becomes part of their personality, just being disrespectful about, feel like they can talk to people however they want to feel because they have that, well, I got me, you know, I don't care. I just act how I want to act.
Yeah. So, and even with the gentle parenting part, cool, parent how you want to parent, but the morals and respect still have to be there. And I feel like the way that we were raised back in the day, not that it was harsh or anything, because look at us now, we were raised up pretty good, but the morals and self-respect, a lot of that is missed in gentle parenting. You have, I guess, parents are trying to find a gray area that fits their kids and not what fits the household. A lot of times I know my parents always said, you know, you're a representation of me. So if you coming out the house doing all these crazy things, carrying yourself in a certain way, dressed in a certain manner, then you're just showing the world what goes on within our household. And I feel like those morals, like to your point, those morals just have been, I guess, people who thought they were raised in a harsh manner. It's like, well, this is what I wanted to do when I was a kid, and my parents didn't let me do it, so I'm gonna let my kids do it now. And now that's shown to the world is, now you just don't have any kind of self-respect.
Well, it goes back to something that I said before, you know, because you have people, they realize what's going on out in the world, and they want to sit there. I genuinely believe they want to do what's best for their kid. And like you said, some of these people, they come from places where they have trauma, where they legitimately were abused and different things, or they had parents that wouldn't allow them to sit there and say how they felt. They like that was showing. So now when they have a kid, the pendulum swings so far to the other side because they understand what it feels to be denied that. And, you know, I've said before, you have to accompany, you know, empathy with guidance. You have to understand where they're coming from, but also say, okay, look, I get it. But this is still, you still have to make sure you have these basic principles, you know, instilled, ingrained. And I think sometimes that we end up seeing. The pendulum swings too far to the other side. It's like, all right, well, I was denied this as a kid, so now I'm just allowing my kid to say, you know, whatever. There is a, like, it. I understand where they're coming from, basically. Like, I get there is a reworking to some old parenting styles that, you know, over time it did create a negative in that individual, but you have to slowly evolve it. Don't just try to throw everything out the window and say, okay, well, now we're just going to do this. That's how you know these kids, they really don't know where to be at. You know, they just end up being lost.
So you don't think there's a common sensality in ethics or in morals? Like there's a base, like no matter who you are, where you come from, you understand that, like, respect. You don't believe, like, every person knows, like, what respect is, what good behavior is, and should have a level of know right from wrong.
In a perfect world, I would say,
But in this, no, don't go perfect world now.
I'm just saying.
In this world, I'm not like, you don't think so?
No.
So
because because when you, especially now, when you're talking about a day and age where people are starting to see certain things that were done in the past not yield the results that they want, and now you're in this era of everyone's trying to reconfigure certain things, or say, well, how can we do this better? That's fine, but if, like I said before, if you don't make sure that you still keep those building blocks, those basic building blocks in place, you end up with people that just kind of feel like it's a free fall. So nowadays, I would argue no, because everyone's making everything subjective. It's not objectivity anymore. It's, well, they're only doing this or they acting out this way because of X, Y, and Z. That could be true, yes, but you still need to have a default, as you say, a basic sense of, okay, this is how a kid should be. There should be respect in place. There should be, you know, you care about your appearance. You don't just walk out the house looking any type of way. That should be there. But because everything is moved to being so subjective now, that's where it's like, well, not really. We don't have that anymore.
So you're saying we don't have it?
We don't.
Okay, that's one thing. So it's not happening. But at the my question was, do you believe that person, whoever the person was that may be displaying the negative action, that they, at the core of them, that they don't know that this is wrong? That's what I'm saying. So at the core of the person, so no matter what, they know they probably can get away with it, but like, so think about the worst kid that we may have had it cut different mentor, and I should say worse, but the one that's behavior talent. You don't think they knew what was right and what was wrong?
I think it goes back to what I said, you know, their upbringing. Everybody, Florida is different than Georgia. Georgia is different than Tennessee. So if that's the way, if they're raised in a certain way, what we think is right and what they think is right could be two different things just because of how they were brought up. So when they come out, even though we know, like, everybody should have this commonality, this common sense of, like, bro, you know that's wrong. They really may feel like I ain't doing nothing wrong. So that's why I feel like, you know, as a mentor, as a mentor, that's where we got to step in. Like, all right, bro, look, maybe you don't know, and that's why I say I go back to, you know, let me try to understand where your level of thinking is from. I think you're saying just being transparent with your kids, you know, let me figure out what you thinking and why you doing what you do, and then I can tell you how society views what you're doing is wrong, or how what you're doing can be deemed as bad, and how this can affect you down the line. So I think, it's just that level of understanding.
But everybody, everybody doesn't have a mentor, and I'm talking general. I ain't talking about what we do.
Yeah.
So everybody doesn't have a mentor.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a regular person, or just anybody in general. I feel, my opinion, you know right from wrong. Anywhere you go, there's a law of the land. You get what I'm saying? In the school setting, in the laws of the world, in the home, like, you have laws. People choose not to abide by the laws, and some people have is it deficiencies, or they have things that hinder them from being able to, but at the core of them, they know right from wrong, bro. I don't care what you say. People know right from wrong. Even a kid that comes from a bad household, the kid that's in the schools and he tearing the schools up, he may not know, like, okay, he may not be understand the fact that he has to abide by these rules because he doesn't have to abide by rules at home, but he knows that rule is in place because he's got in trouble for it. Like, he knows walking out of class is not okay. Y'all, come on, man.
You got it, because if you're not wrong at home, you hear the kids in school. My mama don't talk to me that way. My daddy don't. So if that's not been happening at home, in their world, when they come to the school, that's normal. So we only doing what's normal. And that's why, like you said, I mean, we talking about mentors, but even as a parent, like that's where it's kind of, and I think that's I think that's where the problem at, and that's where like we it's not accepting the stuff that people are doing, but it's trying to understand why they doing what they do.
But it comes back full circle what I was saying before. It's the more you move everything into the realm of subjectivity, you're going to constantly have these types of thoughts, and that's why at the end of the day, nothing really gets done, because it's everybody posturing on what they say. Okay, this is the common sense, or this is how it should be. But the more everybody moves to where, oh well, the reason why they doing this is because of this, and the reason why it's like with greater awareness, right? Which is good, because the more aware you are of an issue, the greater chance for you to fix it. But we don't problem solve in that pattern in society. We don't. We become aware of something, and then we just we propagandize it. We turn it into a profit game. You make money off of awareness of different issues that's going on. So we abuse the awareness, and so because you abuse that awareness, now you have people that now they self-diagnosing, or everyone's being ruled by labels. Right? That's the biggest thing now, is about labels. Well, I have this, I have that. So now you got to treat me differently. Now you got to understand why I'm saying or doing certain things. I got to dodge all repercussions because I have this label. Right? I have this thing. So we created that as a society.
But and not to, so I understand what you're trying to say, because we do. That's ultimately we need that. It should be bro. This is right and this is wrong. This is how we do it. This is how you're supposed to do it, and this is what you're doing. So, but I think we, to Myles' point, it's not like that no more.
But so y'all know me. Everything black and white. I don't care nobody. I say that podcast after podcast after podcast. It's black and white. The person knows that it's wrong. I'm not saying that the person, what they're doing, they can control, but they know it's wrong. That's all I'm trying to get y'all to say. So when a person goes to school, or when a person is in the world and they snap out or do something against the law, they know it's like it. What I'm hearing y'all say is that because of society, they think in their mind that what they're doing is right.
They're being told that basically it's for a reason. So then, no.
Society, I'm sitting at home.
Either or, because it's hard.
But what culminates into society? Homes.
Right.
So then you gonna have to sit there. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you start having all these things shift, that's what you're gonna end up seeing. I get what you saying, but so my thing is like, what if when you saying wrong, what are you talking about exactly? Like, you talking about taking a life? Or you talking about kids that acting up in school? Because those two,
they are, but they're wrong. Both wrong.
Well, if you say,
you know they're wrong.
No, if you say a life, then anybody would say that. Okay, that's like wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. Unless something legitimately wrong, like a sociopath or something like that.
Still wrong.
But yeah, but I'm saying, but when you saying speaking out in class or walking out of class, like, okay, example, right, with the kids eloping, right? You done gave them a label.
Yeah.
Now, some of these schools, they have certain people that's there just for that. Right. So now that kid walking out of class, you may say, well, they know it's wrong. To them, it's not, because they like, well, this is just my everyday thing. I literally have a runner that's in the classroom to come get me when I walk out.
What's up, family? Man, have you liked, subscribed, or commented yet?
Takes 2 seconds. Comment also is a great way to help us refine what we do here.
You family, right? We need you.
Come on, man. Like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.
It's become, so I get this. I get what it's become normalized, but it's still wrong. They know it's wrong, but it's a normal action because they are able to get away with it. We've heard kids say, okay, I can't get suspended. No way. Yeah. Because they know in this setting that they can't get in trouble more. So, but they know what they're doing is wrong. That's all I want to get y'all to say. They know it's wrong, fellas. It's become normalized. Yes, we have become a crippleized society in a whole bunch of ways. Parenting, to the school setting, there's a whole bunch of even to the judicial setting. There's a whole bunch of settings that people aren't holding people accountable. And people are getting away with all these different murders. Literally. Literally getting away from murders. I get that. But at the end of the day, each one of those individuals that are committing a crime, that are committing a bad act, know it's wrong. That's all I'm trying to say. And y'all are trying to sit up here and tell me that they don't know it's wrong. And y'all are aiding in whatever already happened. Y'all part of the problem.
I'm not hating
Y'all part of the problem.
I'm just trying to be realistic.
I'm just highlighting why it is that way. I didn't say I co-sign because I got rules in my house over there. I'm just telling you that's why. When we ask a question, again, like we got to analyze why is it that way. So for some of the kids, like I mean, some of the kids that I know my mom's worked with at the program she with, like that's what making me hard for me to say they just at their core know it wrong. Because some of them kids, I'm telling you, from the day they were infant, just been in some areas you can't even imagine. So when you sit there trying to think like it's just ingrained in them not to do certain things, like imagine from the day you were born, you get taken home to a trap house.
Yeah.
You got drugs around you, you got all the type of stuff around you. That's not making an excuse for them to get older saying, well, they get in trouble. It's literally their environment is so different from our own, man. Like that's, you talking about like some of the worst environments possible.
Yeah.
Some of these kids already seen people get killed at 2 years old.
Yeah.
Like so now to him, seeing death is normal for a 2-year-old.
Yeah. But it's still wrong.
But to your point,
wrong. It's still wrong.
So, and again, we'll go back and all day about it. But both points of views are correct. That kid, no, that's wrong. That we selling drugs at our house. But that's what I've been around my whole life. So
it's become normal. I get that, and we said that. But what I was getting at with the conversation when we talking about the ethics, two things that came out that we've dealt with in the past, weeks or months or so. That has to do with ethics, and the reason that ethics are so important. To the people that's watching this, again, I know everybody around the world is watching this. We cut different ink. What we do is a male mentorship organization. So one incident that happened, a young man came up in our program at one of our after school programming, and we have a culture, we have ethics, we have morals that we give to our boys, and a standard that we display. And everybody that comes within our culture, within our standard, they abide by it. But this one particular young man chose not to. He chose to come in and do what he wanted to do. Get instructions and just brush off the instructions and do his own thing. And so that brings up the question of ethics from it. So in this situation with that young man, when we talk about the ethics, so are we going back to the same playing field what we talk about just now? So with this young man, the situation at hand, or do you feel the same way with him? So do you feel there's something, so do you not think he knew what he was wrong in that situation?
I can tell you in that moment, no.
You don't think so?
In that moment, it came on, it happened so fast, I promise it was just like, that's what he's used to. Mm-hmm. After sitting down with him, you can hear some of the things that were said, you can understand that. And that's why even at that moment, I don't know if you see my body language at that moment, like it was like I was after him, but then I had to understand like, oh, this kid really may not know because he's been this way for so long. You know what I'm saying? Does he know right from wrong? I'm sure he does, but if this is how he's been going about life for all these years, I mean, that was for us to come in and let him understand, all right, look, that may be the way that it was when you were out in wherever you were, but in this type of setting, in this area, this arena, there's a way that you got to do things. He was wrong. But again, do I think he was wrong at that? The way that it happened so fast? I don't think so.
I think that's my problem. I don't really, because my brain, I'm telling you, my brain really works like,
So when I was in criminal justice, one of the first questions they asked us, do you feel criminals are made or born? And the topic at hand is almost the equivalent of that. Because now you can make the argument, I heard them. You can make arguments before, either way, saying that yes, because there have been some kids that have been born, the structure of their brain, the way that it goes, it is off. So you can make the argument saying that, okay, yes, criminals are born, but then you also say, well, it's environmental things, how they talk. So when you're looking at that, it's like, well, it brings the question, that argument, like you're saying, well, does a kid are they born innate with this, this right from wrong understanding, you know, or is it, again, it's an accumulation of what they're being shown or told is the correct thing. So, you know, if you have a kid that, again, since their earliest remembrance is just wilding out, doing stuff that, I mean, yeah, to him, that's his reality.
Yeah. And I think we got to restructure this thing. And, you know, that was another incident. The other incident was with an adult. An adult coming around and not bringing the right ethics as far as aligning with the principles that we set out for this organization. All right. So what allowed that adult, you get what I'm saying? So this is another, so you got a child. So this perfect scenario, both ends of the spectrum. So you got a child that comes in and do it. Okay. He's not developed. He doesn't know how to control himself. But then you have an adult that comes in and he comes around and he brings unethical procedures to us, which should not have happened. And so what's his name?
He wrong, yeah.
Hey, a parent, because you've had time at that point to sit there and look at other things, establish, you know, a difference between you know, right and wrong, and then it even goes back to, you know, what I said earlier, you know, basically like whatever it is your values are, you know, you're gonna experience a challenge of those values as you go throughout life. So in this case, integrity, you know, you're going to be challenged on that all throughout life. So it depends on how you handle it in moments where you can get that freebie if you know, betray integrity. Because not all the time you're going to get called, at least not immediately. So because he's done it numerous times, now where it's like, okay, this is a big moment where you should have integrity, he falls on it because that's a built-up pattern in just his everyday living.
But let me push back on you. So for the same person or individual, they've had a continuous record of doing wrong things. So the upbringing, I'm pretty sure it's stemmed from the childhood to now. So why isn't it okay because his age? You get what I'm saying? Because the same thing y'all just gave me with the kids, the same thing in the environment where he come from. This person has a record to show that I've been doing this for forever. So I just don't know.
So the kid may have experienced the gentle parenting, so to speak. He hasn't been reprimanded to the detriment of the adult. The adult was taken to a place to let you know, like, bro, no, you're doing wrong, and you're continuously doing wrong, and we're gonna bring you every time you do wrong. That kid, though, even in the meeting, that's what he said. Remember, the guy was like, you know, we don't do that where we are. We don't do that here. And I think you need that. Again, that was a moment for me, like, I get what, you know what I'm saying? That I had to understand. And that's where, again, I say that the adult is wrong. Because, again, once you go to a certain place, they tell you right from wrong. You know the laws for this kid. If they're allowing him to do this and then he comes to a place of structure where you have to be respectful, if you don't have to do that at home, again, when he came and did what he did with us, it was like, it was just normal to him.
Yeah. I think we ain't being fair. So, and I say this to the boy. I don't know if y'all ever heard me, but I said this to the boys before. So as an adult and as a kid, okay, we both in an adult life, you know what I mean? You get in trouble, you go to jail. In kids' life, you get in trouble, you get a referral. Same thing. If we check this kid's record and we check this adult record, and referrals to, I'm pretty sure, I bet you they're in line. I bet you he gets referrals. So the same measure to what you say, he's been given something to tell him that this isn't cool. What you're doing isn't cool. And I say this all the time to the young boys. I say right now, what you're doing, it's okay with it because it's like a slap on the wrist. You get a referral, you go home where you want to be anyway, or you go to ISS. But what you're doing now, bad behaviors just don't stop. You're creating a habit of doing bad things, bad behaviors. So you're going to keep doing them, keep giving referrals. Oh, I'm 18. Oh, I go to jail. But you've been doing this. You look at any criminals, go look at their school history. You get what I'm saying? So that's why we are important, but this ain't no plug for us, but I'm just saying, like, this is real stuff. So the same thing y'all saying, it's the same level. So the same, or you even go check his school record. It'll probably show what we saying now.
It depends, because you have, because in some situations, you can have two kids raised in the same household. Yeah, one stays squeaky clean.
Mr. Jamie.
The other one gets in some trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like, even in that scenario, again, it's not that black and white all the time, because at some point in time, that person, you have to make your own choices. So it's like, I hear what you're saying. There's probably I would argue that's the norm, is that you have that pattern of them getting in trouble. But you do have some of those individuals that they were raised right. But again, you're going to have that individual challenge of your morals, of your values as you age. The more you sit there and betray it, that's going to become your pattern, despite your parents used to be in your ear all the time, because your parents ain't gonna always be around. Right? That's what I'm saying. As you get older, you have more autonomy, more freedoms. That's when it's even a bigger call on you to sit there and make sure that you're continuously living the way that you're supposed to be. Because now when you don't have all those structures, when you don't have all those boundaries in place, somebody telling you, no, you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, you getting up at this time, you're doing all that. When all that falls away, that's when you actually find the measure of the man. Because now it's on you to uphold that.
Yeah. And not to mention, so then we will still talk about the adult and the kid. And this is in our actual situations, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, was the young man's, was the kid's upbringing, did he have the same parenting as the adult? And that could be why the adults persisted as long as it did. I mean, we don't know his whole upbringing. It's
all hypothetical at this point.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, though, and I think that's what we're. And again, I agree, but it's still just that his upbringing. How was he brought up? Did he have the parenting? Did he have the people, his dad, his mom? Did he have those people in his life to teach him what's right and wrong? And if he did, I put 500 on it to say he probably didn't. If he did if he continued to do the things that he did, until he got to that point, to Myles' point, where he was able to make his own decisions. And now I'm so used to doing this, making these bad decisions, I'm going to just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I just go back to, upbringing, man.
And I hear everybody, I hear y'all out, but I'm and we going to move on, brothers. But so from what was given, if we was in a court of law, we was in something, somebody had to really agree with somebody, I think they would agree with me. Because what y'all are saying, bro, well, y'all got to hear y'allself. And maybe I'm just hearing y'all wrong. You are giving, so we make age is important. Obviously, you're supposed to mature. You're supposed to become more able, I guess, and as you get older,
conscious of
it. Yes, that's a great word. But y'all are telling me, because especially you made a point that the actions of the adult, because you were getting warnings and you were going to a place that was the same thing for the kid. Like I said, they go to school, they understand that their behaviors aren't aligned. It's a thing called the school to prison pipeline, brother. It's a real thing. And it's got a lot of brothers in that cycle. So for us to try to say as if this child is not knowing, I don't think that's right, because you're in the principal office every day. You're getting a referral every day. We deal with this type of stuff. I'm about to say his name, NC, and one of our schools, y'all put it together, the initials NC.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that's a fair thing. But at the end of the day, great conversation. I get what y'all saying though.
So let's see what the viewers say. That's something that we want to
So that's what I want to great point, my brother. So everybody watching, did y'all tap in? Y'all heard what I said, y'all heard what he said. Please, in the comments, let us know. So, and I'm gonna just go around and state what I'm gonna say, my argument for everybody. So here's something. All I'm saying is, everybody knows right from wrong. I don't care where you come from. At the end of the day, when you come into the world, when you step into the world, you may not know at first, but then it's like the iron. Babies don't know anything when they come into the world. They learn by the experiences. All right, you touch. I ain't doing that no more. All right. Anything else that you learn from it. So for us to say that a kid doesn't know that has a pile of referrals that's been suspended all these times, and we say that they don't know that their actions, like for us to say that young man came into this environment and did that and didn't know that was wrong, he probably, again, not used to being held accountable for doing that. He's used to getting away with that, but he knows it's wrong. So y'all are trying to tell me they don't know it's wrong. So everybody, if you agree with me, put I agree with Jamie in the comments. These brothers, y'all heard their argument. If one of y'all want to pitch your argument again, I'll allow y'all to do that. They don't even know what their argument was. They just up here just saying anything.
I didn't have an argument. I get enlightenment.
Yeah, it's no argument. So basically what I'm saying is that Jamie's saying that they know right from wrong, which I'm not saying that he is wrong or he's right. I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I do think that the upbringing plays a part, because again, if a kid he's been held accountable at school, so to speak. So you say he's coming into the principal's office, but a lot of times the referrals don't even make it home. So his parents may not even know that he's suspended. I mean, may not even know he's gotten a referral until he's suspended. And that's where I'm saying that's where that come into play at, because if the parent's not knowing, then they can't correct his behavior, if that makes sense. And that's the only argument I'm saying. So to say that everybody knows that they're wrong when they make a choice in life, we knew it. So that's what I'm saying.
And I'm not even going, so we going to get off this because guys, we can keep going. You're adding more people in there. You're adding the parents. I'm saying that child, that person, he knows or she knows they're wrong. Even if you say the report card or the referral didn't make it home, they knew that was wrong. They knew that it was wrong that they didn't make it home. All right, so it's a bunch of wrong that you trying to make right. All right, so we gonna move on from that. But what we was getting to was the good ethics, man. So one thing I want to touch on before we close out, man. Let's give the people some good practices, good ethical practices. So from each one of y'all, and I can start it off. So maybe 3. I see how much I think of. So one of the things we all talked about that is respect. I think, for our viewers, everybody, man, you should have a foundation of respect, and you should respect anything, everything. As far as I always had a thing, you should respect the CEO down to the janitor. Everybody owes your respect, man. And I've seen this myself. I've seen people get opportunities just by the way they respected people and how the energy that they brought around each other. That goes a long way. The yes sirs and no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And again, we live in a day and age where, it's not that you have to say the ma'am, you can just say yes, but not being rude, bro. Being a good person. You know what I mean? Just coming into an environment, being a good person, it'll get you a long way. So I definitely will move with respect. The next one, I think we all said it, but I'll steal it. Y'all may want to say it, but the integrity part of it, just being who you say you are, the integrity, doing what you say you're going to do. If one thing my dad always used to say, be a man of your word. You know what I mean? If you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it. You know what I mean? So anything you put out there in the world, making sure you're holding yourself accountable, and you're doing it. Just having integrity, approaching this world, and trying to make it a way. So respect, integrity, and I don't know if this is a moral thing, but I'm just gonna say good energy. That might be a moral thing, but just bringing good energy everywhere you go. And we say this a lot as when we as a team or even for our boys, just being vibrant. Nobody likes a Debbie Downer. Don't come around with bad energy, man. Stay home. You know what I mean? Don't come around, but being a vibrant person. And that's I don't care what's going on. If you're coming into an environment, you should be expected to bring a good energy. If you're sick, if something happened, but you owe it to the space that you're going to not take away from that. Don't be the person that mopes around and then you expecting somebody to say, what's wrong? So you can have a little sob story. You know what I mean? Just come in with that good energy. So I'm going to go with those 3. So respect, integrity, and bringing good energy into every place you come into. Let's swing to you, Brother Myles. What you got for us?
Well, pretty much the ones I said at the beginning. I always say putting God first, because that's going to encompass pretty much all the rest. If you live it by the example that He gave us. But then other than that, integrity, we already hit on that. And then the other one is courage. I mean, you have to have courage to do all the rest of them, because you have a lot of distractions out there. You have a lot of people that sit there, mock you, pick fun of you, bring up, remember wins when talking about, your progression from how you was to how you are now. So you gonna have to have courage to stand against all that. But that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch mine up. I'm gonna say presentation. Presentation because people your first impression means everything. So the way that you present yourself again to others, and just to yourself, and I think that leads right into confidence, because if you present yourself in a way, then that means you're confident in yourself, and you have to be confident in the things that you do in the way that you present yourself to others. And lastly, again, I'll just go back to accountability. I think I got hit across my head enough with accountability as a kid that, you got to be able to own up to your choices in life that you make. And now as a man, there are things that, even I have to make sure that the choices that I make, it can affect my family, it can affect cut different, it can affect so many people. So accountability is definitely gonna always be one of my ones, one of my 3.
Yeah, and that's a great one to spit it out onto. Speaking of accountability, at the beginning of this podcast, I said, please like, subscribe, and comment. All right. So if you haven't liked, subscribed, or commented by now, this is my accountability piece to you. Stop what you're doing right now and like, subscribe, comment. We had a great dialogue. We'd love to hear your feedback. Love to hear what you got to say about the topic that we had. I know y'all all gonna agree with me. It's all fine. You don't have to feel sorry for these brothers. All the people that's probably gonna say something, they wives or or somebody like that. Nobody else is gonna agree with them. All right. So I appreciate y'all, family, man. But this has been a great episode. I definitely appreciate you, man. So again, I keep tuning in, family. We're only gonna get bigger and better. But we need the engagement definitely to go up. You guys are liking, but we need you to comment and we need you to subscribe. But one thing I do want to show is the celebration. I will reach over 500 YouTube subscribers. So we're going to get something to say, yay, like we're going to get an end screen, say, woo, you know what I mean, whatever. But 500 YouTube subscribers, that's a huge deal, man. We're on our way to 1K. My hope is that we can reach 1K before the summer. So I'm going to cast that into the world, into y'all ears, all right? 1K subscribers before the summer, and I'm going to start pitching that every time I get on here. So we need 1K subscribers before the summertime hit. So that's, I'm going to say June. I don't know what summer really start, but we'll say before June 1st. All right, so we just started February, January, February, March, April, May. 3 months. 3 months to get 1K subscribers, and we can do it, but we need your help. So we get that by you sharing this. Send that out to your people. Share this. Tell them to watch. Tell them to like. Tell them to interact. Go to our Instagrams, all right? So right now, I need you to go to our Instagram, EL2A Podcast. On Instagram, EL2A Podcast. On Facebook, follow us, all right? I know I just said a lot, but make sure you follow on our socials. Make sure you just keeping up with the journey, all right? Y'all boys got anything left for the people?
Yeah. Hey, man, tell us what some of y'all morals and ethics are. That way we can engage and we can see what y'all got for us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about your brother Myles?
That was good.
So it's good. But nah, that is cool. Put your morals and ethics in there, and we can have a dialogue about that as well. It's probably something we left out. So what is the most answer? So we're gonna end with this. Put the number one moral or ethic that you were brought up on and put it in there so everybody else can see it, and if they don't practice it, they can start practicing it as well. All right, so what you laughing about, man? You good? Yeah, I just laugh. But all right, family, man, we love y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.